Yo, 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 everybody. What is up? First off, everybody give me a thumbs up if the audio is working here. I want to make sure that the new mic is working well. So give me a thumbs up on that, and then we are going to we're going to add. I've got some features coming here, and one of them is call in calls. We're going to be doing some of that tonight. Welcome everybody to the OCD Mikey Hi-Fi Guy Show, the show that you've all been waiting for patiently after football. I haven't been watching football. Getting my Neumann, all this whole setup for the mic, and I can come in and talk to you, do some AMSR bullshit. But now I've got the mic for whoever was crying about the mic. I had these mics here. I just hadn't hooked them up. I've got two of these. Great microphone company. Anyways, looks like everybody's watching football. David's checking in. Steve DeHardy. Let's get one thing straight. Great measuring speakers with extremely high quality crossover parts and almost completely inert cabins can sound extremely musical and engaging with every type of music. Fisher and Fisher are perfect examples of that fact. Absolutely. That is why I carry them. Now back to the regular scheduled show. Hey, Mikey, is the guy who is on the show from Vapor Audio? No, he is. That's not who I plan to have, but I did actually call him earlier tonight and asked him if he wanted to come. So he'll come on if we have time. If we don't run out of time, he'll come on as the second guest. So yeah, his name's Ryan Scott. Sup, Mikey and Tribe, ready to learn Oakland love. Right on, man. Good to see you. I saw you on the little videos. I see you leaving notes to me. What's up, Masher? Harsha, what's up, buddy? Who's measuring the score of this game exactly? Who's got their damn microphones out? Yeah, man. Nice cans. Thanks. HD 650s, whatever. These are kind of beaters, I guess, I stopped watching football after losing your fantasy football league. Oh, well. Hello, Tribe. What's up, Scott? Hey, everyone. Those speakers sound amazing. Yes. Yeah, they do. I mean, all of them are great sounding speakers. I am not going to carry Eggleston, however, which was kind of upsetting. I'd like to carry a really good American brand. However, I carry Tonian instead, or I'm sorry, Oriaco, which is Tony's brand. He'll be joining us later. Tony Manassian of Oriaco, who is also a tracking engineer. He is a recording engineer and he is a speaker designer. And so he knows about measurements. Let's put it that way. He knows about microphones. Hey, Mikey and Tribe from Moidle Beach. Right on, man. We don't keep scoring football. It's all based on how you feel. Yeah, I don't fucking care about it. So I'm not watching games. It's really funny. I mean, these whole things like football, it blows my mind how into it people get over. I mean, it's so inconsequential in the grand scheme of things. It means nothing in life. It's fun, it comes from the time of whatever, the Romans or the Greeks or whatever, games and that kind of thing. I couldn't be less interested in those the games. If somebody's watching them, I'll get into them, but whatever. I'd much rather watch motorsports. Hey, Mikey, sup everyone? What's up, Antica? Mikey and the Tribe, good evening. Good evening, Tom. Dano, what's up, Home Slice? What is up, Dano? Dano is the brewmaster here in Miami. Oh, you're there, Dave. What are you doing, man? You working? Not a bad place to be. And tonight it is Stella Artois 0.00. Pretty good stuff. I think that that Belgian ale or beer is my favorite one so far. What's up, Masher? Sennheiser. Yeah, HD 650s. That's what I've got. I consider them beaters. Can't go wrong with the 650s. Yes, you can't. You and Jay seem to have this odd back and forth beef. Or am I just imagining things? Seems like you guys are low key replying to each other's videos regularly. Well, guess who's paying attention? uh, yeah, it's funny. I for your guys's enjoyment, I've since the time I met Jay, I said we will be best as um opposites opposing each other, you know. I don't see things the way he sees things. He likes different sound than I like sound. He'll come around eventually to my type of sound. Once he has more time listening, I think he'll come around to but I don't know really what the intentions are, you know. I mean, with a lot of people, there's other intentions. They have, you know, business interest and things to do, and I don't know really what anybody's personal intentions are. But getting clicks is certainly one of them. And Jay is very good at that. He's very good, man. He works hard at coming up with drama things that get you guys hooked, like fish hook, like this. He's very good at doing that. um, we laugh about it. We talk to each other on the phone. You guys have no idea. We talk to each other on the phone, and we laugh and conspire and talk about shit, but you know, and laugh at how the audience will respond and all that kind of stuff. But it's all this shit is sport, so that you guys know this is all jousting. I don't have anything against Danny, you know. I'll still call out bullshit when I see bullshit, and it's just a sport. This is social media jousting, you know. There is no fight, there is no animosity, there's nothing like that. Everybody is selling you shit, okay? So some of us are going to be more forward and direct with it, like I am. I tell you, I'm here to sell you shit. Other people will do it in different ways. But the bottom line is every mofo on YouTube for hi-fi is selling one thing or another. And if they're not selling you a product, they're selling a manufacturer a shout out, or they're selling them advertising, or it's all sales. So don't kid yourself into thinking. And the funny part is when people try and pretend like they're doing it for fun, or like they're doing it to help the industry. And I've got no interest in this. I'm just doing it to help the industry. It's like, yeah, but you sell. Yeah, I won't say who I'm talking about, but you know, I talk with Danny. I talk with him on emails. You know, I mean, you know, it's anyways. I call out bullshit. Like, okay, in my last video, right? You saw my last video. I did a very ridiculous thumbnail image, right? That is completely on purpose. Okay. I even said to Danny before I did that video, I said, I think I'll make a clickbait video today. And I did it. You know, measurements are for dicks. That is straight clickbait. That is straight poking the beehive. That is, I know it's going to cause. Did you see how many responses are in there? You see what kind of a conversation it starts? I can blow a dart right into the audience on YouTube, and I know what stirs it up. And this was very intentional. I did that for a reason. I did that to show you a couple things. First of all, I don't work for anybody. There's no sponsors. Okay, that makes it clear. Okay, actions speak louder than words. People can say they don't have sponsors and they don't get paid and they don't make money, but when they're being all, you know, being a good boy and being polite, they're undercoverly slagging people, not outright saying they're dildos or they don't know how to design. They're just kind of finding wrong things with them and just sugarcoating it. Well, I'm the guy that doesn't sugarcoat it. So anyways, that image that I put up, that's a ridiculous image, a banana, a measuring thing. It's a funny statement. That shit is funny. You know, measurements are for dicks. I should make a t-shirt with that whole, with a illustrate a banana and a thing, that would be a great Hi-Fi Tribe t-shirt. I'll probably do it. Because it very much, in a very kind of sarcastic and sort of, joking way, describes how I feel about getting. And I've talked about this the whole time since I've been doing my my shows and my videos. I talk about how it was when manufacturers and marketers started to tell you guys about what's the engineering shit, what goes on inside, what caps are used. It's totally to it's to manipulate you. It's to get you to buy something. Okay. They're getting you into shit that has no bearing. It's to make you forget about how does it sound. So instead of just relying on your own ears and buying something that sounds good to you, you will look for something with Mundorf caps and then you'll buy it if it has Mundorf caps. So knowing this or perpetrating this, we could say the industry perpetrated this. It allows them to sell shittier product with Mundorf caps in it that sounds worse, but they use the Mundorf caps to try and save a shitty design, and people, because people, you guys are, some people get put under the ether with this kind of crap and they don't just trust their ears and listen. Prime example is the Wilson thing. Wilson is fabulously successful. Okay. They are probably more successful than any speaker company that I know of in the history of hi-fi. And do you think they don't measure? Do you actually think for a second that they suck at engineering? Well, if they suck at engineering, okay, if that's true, then they really excel at marketing, because they're extremely successful. And the guy selling the mods is like Wilson farted after eating popcorn. That's how light the fart is. That's the comparison between Wilson and the guy who's slagging him, and his attitude is, "Oh, I'm not slagging them. I'm just looking for the truth." And that's bullshit, man. You're selling kits is what you're doing. But he doesn't say that. I just wish he would just be, because this industry is full of so much fluff, that why doesn't he just say, "Hey, I'm looking to sell kits, so I'm going to show you how everything else sucks and how I think I'm the best," because he does think he's the best. He thinks he's speaker god. Trust me, I have emails from the guy, and I'm like, oh, finally, I just said congratulations. Wow, applause. You're very special guy. You know, um, I think my opinion is he's a mediocre designer. I don't think he's one of the greats. I think he's a mediocre designer. I think he's got a good DIY following. I think he does a good job at making DIY kits and making people happy. The 1-2 guys that have WAP puppies that want them changed, um, that send them in or whatever, that's his shtick, is selling kits. Great. No problem there. No problem. But to try and make it seem like Wilson doesn't know their head from their ass, which is the gist of the vibe of it, of that, is like that is, it's self-serving. It doesn't help. And I think he's under the impression that Wilson is gonna, well, I'm gonna force them to change the way they design, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna force the industry to behave themselves. So either he's Robin Hood or the speaker cops, or whatever it is. But I don't think it is on top of the table, on the up and up. So yeah, so we take juxtapositions. We're contrarians. I have a lot more experience than Jay. I come from a different, I've owned manufacturers. I mean, I've got 3, well, these just show how long I've been in business. These are 3 trademarks, that I have over the years. I've got patent in cable design. I mean, I made a US patent. I didn't buy it. I freaking designed it. And I have a patent in cable connector design. That's not easy to do, man. And it's just whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't even talk about it really. I just only here and there. But anyways, yeah. So, wouldn't you rather have us have a back and forth beef than to be buddies? Wouldn't you rather have the YouTubers without me stepping on the other side, everybody would kind of be the same. They would all they would all be really polite and talk about audio and products like it's all the greatest stuff they've heard, like Steve Huff or Guttenberg, I mean, nice guys. Don't I'm not saying anything about that, but everything is always good, and people are always just they behave, they're always very, and it's like I think it's in a lot of ways you guys need to hear the other side. That's why I am the black sheep, because I'm willing to do it. I don't care. I'll be the villain. I'll be the Joker. I'll be that guy because somebody needs to. And I think it's valuable to you guys to have somebody like me giving you the juxtaposition. There's point and counterpoint, right? I'm the counterpoint dude. And I prove it with the results. I don't just talk out my ass on YouTube. I actually go and do shows at the shows. I have rooms and I prove that I know what I'm talking about. So anyways, but on and on. So yes, so we do know each other. Do I have a dog? What kind? Why not? Love dogs. Don't have a dog. We had 2 Samoyeds. And we now watch dogs when people go out of town. My woman is a dog sitter, and we get all sorts of different doggies through here that we watch. Right now, we've got a pit bull here, and we watch doggies. Doggies get me, and I get them. What's up to the rest of the tribe? Hope you're all having a good weekend so far. Weather sucks here in North Carolina, North California. Oh, yeah, I heard it's been dreary. No, that was South Florida. It was dreary, but I think it blew over. I think it's cool you are carrying a brand with active speaker cabinets. Maybe you know about a brand that I don't know about. Which brand? I don't know anybody that has active. I don't carry active speakers. I typically don't like them. I would love to have a real audiophile level musical type active speaker, but typically they're too much like pro audio, they're too analytical, or they're too hi-fi, the ones that I've heard. My new mic sounds great. Good. It ought to. It's a Neumann. Hey, Charles, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. I'll be seeing you soon, man. Charles going to come back out. Will Tonian ever use PHY drivers again? Have no idea. That will hold that question. I think we've got 173. I'm going to bring Tony on right now. Let me rifle through these questions and we'll bring Tony on. What sort of mic is that? Awesome sounding. It is a Neumann. Some of the best German microphones. Thanks for the candid response about Jay. I was hesitant to ask you because I didn't want to stir up the hornet's nest, but I appreciate you being forthcoming. Yeah, no, I mean, Jay and I have no beef, man. We laugh about shit, and we're contrarians again, but we know each other. We call, he will let me know if there's things that might be drama, to tell me, hey, Mikey, do a video on this. Like, he'll feed me stuff. So he'll feed me stuff that he's not willing to do, maybe, or that he doesn't want it, or just ideas that he has to help me get clicks. He wants me to be up with him in his numbers. We used to talk and he was always upset that he was a little behind me, but he worked real hard and then went past me in subs. But again, you guys, I'm not after subs. The reason why I do this channel is to broaden the expanse of systems that I build for people and to promote my selling, my dealership, and building audio systems. And that's happened. So I've as you've seen, I've died off on many of my videos. I don't do that many videos anymore because I'm busy building audio systems. And that's really what I'm after. I'm not after, 200,000. If I had 200,000 subscribers, I would be a slave to those subscribers. It would be very hard not to make content and to ease off on it if you've got that many people that really want it. You kind of have to. And I watched documentaries, man. I watched a documentary the other day of what it's like for these people that have millions of subscribers, and they are, once you get to that level, you can't stop. You're stuck. It's like people want to consume your material and you have to keep feeding the beast with material. I don't necessarily want that for my life. I like to do things like build audio systems, ride motorcycles, shoot guns, whatever. Um, so all this is for fun. If we shut down the computer, we still have our family, kids, and wife, dog, whatever at home. That is for sure. It is. You mentioned that you prefer a different sound than Jay. I haven't caught all of your videos over the last 6 months. Do you think you could quickly describe what sound is that you prefer? Yes, in a nutshell. And this may be changing for Jay as he has more experience. But when I went to his place and listened, he likes hi-fi analytical sound, and things that are like very much shocking, but you don't listen to for a very long time. I like things that you can sit and listen to for a long time, and enjoy. His music listening is like invigorating. He wants it to invigorate him. I want my listening to relax me. I don't want to be invigorated or engaged. I want to relax and like fade out, and just be like in a trance where time slows and you just like time goes by. 5 hours will go by and you're like, holy shit, I thought only an hour passed. What happened to the time? That's my kind of listening. Jay put it one time. He said these are his words. He said, I like the F-15 ride, whatever, F-22. He's like, I like to be in an F-22 where you go straight up and I hit Mach 2 and I pass out and then I come to, and that's the kind of experience I want. He's like, you like a Gulfstream, or Rolls Royce, whatever, something where it's just comfortable and relaxed and you can just chill back and spend hours doing it. And I'm like, yes. So that was in Jay's words. Greetings, Mike and Tribe. Hope all is well. It's Grover listening from NorCal. Looking forward to some hi-fi edutainment. Loving my Fisher and Fishers. Right on, buddy. Yeah, he got some of the first monitors that came out. Livingston, hey fam, I'm in the Bay, so it's pretty chilly today. Hope it clears up soon for you. Yeah, buddy. It's Jay's Florida influential associations that have shaped some of his perspectives, like setting the hook mentality. I can't make sense of that. Love how Mikey clearly demonstrated that different designs can be satisfying to different listeners. Totally. And that's what we're getting into. The Tonian sounded great to me. My rig didn't feel any need to buy other gear. Yeah, man. I mean, at the bottom line is that's all that matters. Is if you guys are enjoying your system and if it gets you across the line where you're just happy and you don't keep thinking about getting new stuff. If you keep thinking about getting new stuff and you're not satisfied, then you're still on your journey and nothing wrong with that. But I prefer my job is to get you guys over the line to stop that journey so you don't have to keep doing it and tiring yourself out and spending money and losing every time you sell, all that kind of crap. Now, I understand not everybody can just jump into a 50, 60, 100, $200,000 rig. Some people need to do steps into it, and that's fine. And that's why I have things in my policies that help people do that. So that's good, Rob. I'm glad you're happy. In general, do you recommend diffusion or absorption on the wall behind the Maggies? And also what for side ceiling and back walls? Room is 17 by 21. It depends on where, how close you are to the walls. Typically, you want some reflection back there, but you are going to, in the corners, put bass traps, so typically we go for a combination of both. And, I'm not the guy, I'm not an acoustician, and I don't try and create recording studios in your house. I try to just put some bass traps in the corners and just move the speakers around until they sound good. And then that's how I do it. Hey, Shane, what's up? Our Geelong chapter of the Hi-Fi Tribe. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. Bananarama text, yellow goal. Okie doke. Hey, Shane. DeHardy, measurements are for dicks, sums up human nature appropriately. Comparison is the thief of joy. That is a great saying. It totally is. Comparison it puts us in a spot of greater than, less than, and we are either better than something or less than something. Social media is, and Facebook is like, I mean, think of all the depression that it puts people in, and kids kill themselves and shit like that because they're comparing themselves to their friends. That's a great comparison. Is the thief of joy. Is so true. Hey Carl. Well said, Steve. Hey Shane, what's up? Everybody's got vibes going good. I agree. Danny is mid-fi. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it either. I think he's got delusions of grandeur to some point, just based on the email that I got. I'm like, this guy's got delusion. He's delusional about, his prowess. Like, he thinks he's speaker God. That's cool though. No problem with that. I think I'm system God. So it's all good. We're all entitled to that. But I mean, I don't have to pretend. I think the gist of the vibe was he was asking for a job. Who? Who and what? It seems you are a normal salesperson. I accept that. That's normal business. But J and G researcher, um, yeah, I'm just I don't hide it, man. I'm here to sell you stuff. What's up, tribe? Hello from Michigan. Please make the shirts. I'll buy one. I'll do it. Explored as an extreme 7.5 unassembled. Resale value would be horrible. Yep. Well, those are the decisions you guys need to make on your own, and I would never comment on, I might give my opinion, but I don't have any opinion on that. Do low sensitivity speakers generally have bad imaging at lower volumes? Can an amp improve this? Yeah, it can. If you get a powerful amp that has a lot of current, then typically you got a lot of juice behind them. And at lower volumes, you can. It depends on the amp's linearity, man. But the amp can improve it. Yeah, those were 20-year-old Wilsons. Wilson has trained dramatically since 2005. Well, I don't know if I can say this, but I think there's more coming on his channel. I don't want to give away anything, but let me just say I have a hunch that the Wilson topic is good for clicks. So I think the Wilson topic will be ran like a racehorse until it's exhausted, until they can't squeeze any more juice out of it. They will keep running with it. Whatever works, keep running with it. If he can contribute to the design of a Wilson, he figures it will launch his career. Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, why doesn't he just go to Wilson and ask him say, hey, I'd like to fix your shit. You think they're going to hire him now? Hell no. If they think there's issues or whatever, but I don't know. It's a weird thing. Are also normal, say person. Okay, whatever. Correct, Steve. Hey, Mikey, Kenny from Australia. Oh, Kenny boy. What's up, man? Thank you for letting me drop my link on the show. Kenny's Hi-Fi Down Under that demonstrate the FNF 470M for people that know about Slate. Kenny's Hi-Fi Down Under. Okay, so you see this thing right here. Kenny's Hi-Fi Down Under. One. Kenny's a freaking entertainer. Kenny, you're funny, brother. I watch Kenny's videos and I'm like, dude, you're so much of a wingnut, bro, that you're a brother. I'm like, I smile at your shit and I'm like, this guy's totally part of my tribe for sure. You are absolutely one of us, man. He's a wingnut. I love Kenny. His videos are funny. I'm going to come down to Australia at some point. I'm going to hang out with Shane. Kenny, we're going to get together with Shane, who's watching right now. Aussie Audiophile. We're going to find Martin in Melbourne. If you guys are not too far from Melbourne, we'll get Marty involved. And then we'll get some motorcycles and we'll ride out into the outback, man. We'll go on an adventure, man. Let's do it. Let's dive the barrier reef. Let's do some shit, man. I want to see it. Kangaroos are scary, dude. Those things look like freaking aliens on steroids, man. And they balance on their tails. They freak me out, dude. These things are weird. And you got to punch them, man. You got to punch them right in the face. I saw you guys seen the video with the dog that they punch. Kangaroo gets his dog and he has to come up like a boxer and punch it in the face. And the thing is like, holy shit, I just got clocked. Dak comment, do R2R recordings on 1/4-inch tape? I do R2R recordings. reel-to-reel recordings on quarter-inch tape from my LPs for kicks at 15 IPS. The sound is mighty and impressive. Wish I could do an AB with the MPD8 because if the DAC can match R2R, I'll buy. I've done that. Okay, so I have a Playback Designs D2A converter called a Pino, and I can take my reel-to-reel that has master dubs, okay, from masters, and I can play it, and I can switch the inputs on a preamp and go from the straight out of the tape deck and hear it like that compared to the digital conversion of it, the MPD8, the D to A, and then the conversion back to digital. I'm sorry, back to analog. We're using the MPD8. I can go switch. There's a video. You can't hear, you cannot tell the difference. It is indistinguishable. And I think I was doing it at DSD times 4, whatever, DSD 128 or 256, whatever it was. It wasn't DSD times 4. It was DSD times 2. So whatever that is, I haven't paid attention to it in a long time. But the bottom line was it was indistinguishable. It's absolutely indistinguishable. And just on this note, Ari, MoFi, the Vinyl Kings, use the Playback Designs to do their archiving, and then they play back using the MPD8. So if it's the choice of MoFi for archiving their analog stuff and making duplication, then that's all you should have to know. If you're a reel-to-reel guy, Playback Designs is the next. It is indistinguishable. Can you discuss silver-plated versus copper power cable characteristics? Silver-plated has more detail. Thanks, Kenny. Hi, Tribe from Houston. I have 2 Samoyed girls. Oh, cool. We had a boy and a girl. I love Sammys. They're so cute. They're so soft and so talkative and engaging. They really engage with you. Mikey, what do you think about EPI 100 watt? I have no idea what that is. I haven't heard an active speaker. I'm the same. I meant the speaker cabinets resonate. The new violin speaker. Yeah, that's called Oriaco. Your new microphone makes you sound like a shorter Barry White. Come on, baby. I'll get ready for some Barry. Oh my God, that many subscribers sounds terrifying. I would hate it. I know. Imagine it, man. I mean, Jesus, you're a slave to them at that point. And they showed how people go cuckoo. This family, a popular thing is to do family videos and babies being born, and then like the baby reveal and all this stuff for families, right? It's a big deal. And this one woman and her husband kept making content more and more and kept getting paid more and more and more. And to the point where they couldn't have a baby. I guess they were having trouble having a baby. So they just decided, we need content right now. We can't wait for the baby to gestate. So let's go adopt one from China. And they went to adopt one from China, and they just videoed the whole thing, turning it into a circus. It was really bad, but they were just starved for content. And in the end, it took them out. Mikey, have you heard of Soul Note from Japan? How do you like them? I know nothing about them. Your attitude is over the top in Europe. Americans are shouting too much. I like American top hi-fi. I have an old school JBL S Horn D'Agostino integrated with MSB, the discrete. Yeah, D'Agostino, I don't like. You can't, no matter what. D'Agostino has so many repair problems. It's a shit. In my opinion, that product is. We ought to make a whole video on the Relentless and how much problems it had. We can talk about the integrated, where it had the streamer in there, and the streamer never worked in the D'Agostino. So they just discontinued it and just told people they got to unplug their streamer. And then the buyers, so you got a product that broke and it won't be fixed under warranty. And if you want to change to a front faceplate that doesn't have the readout for the streamer, then you have to pay us $10,000 after they bought a $55,000 freaking integrated. D'Agostino is not. I can't think of any reason to have it. Jay was all giggles when Danny complimented the Magicos. Jay is pumped. Magico's another speaker that I totally don't get. Never heard a Magico that I liked. Now, but it doesn't surprise me because it's analytical. So if Jay likes it, then that's great. If Danny likes it, then Danny must like, clinical sound too. I've just never heard a Magico that I liked, you know. And I don't even look. I've not Wilson typically is not a speaker that I like, but I will defend Wilson in this whole scenario. I will go to bat on Wilson's side, even though just because it's not a sound that I prefer. I have mad respect for what they've done, and their build quality is beautiful. I mean, if you ever gone up and looked at a Wilson, it's top notch, high level build quality. It's a beautiful product. It's a very successful company. They're very good to their employees. It's a happy work environment. You know, and so why slag that brand? We'll go. I'm not gonna go any further. We got to bring Tony on. Jay's ears be ringing. All nice analog sounding. Yes, Baby Fisher and Fisher. Yeah, they're really good. The latest video was excellent. It was a great representation of what you've been talking about. Yeah, just trying to show you there's different strokes for different folks. Do you still run amps in our other equipment at 230? Not right now. I don't, but I have 4 sockets for 230. So yes, absolutely. For power amps, 230, 220. What would we have? 2, 4, 2, 2. Yeah, it's 230. You're right. It's good. It's good for amplifiers that draw a lot of current. They run easier, more efficiently. If you use your ears more than your wallet when buying audio, you'll all be more satisfied with your system in general, unless your system is to show off to other people, right? That would be the only reason. Jay is sending his speakers to Danny. We know which ones. The Magicos? That'll be fun. See, that'd be, see, he knows what's drama, right? Jay knows drama. And so to send Magico and then have Danny tell you how they did it wrong and he's going to make it better and then sell a kit, you know, and then Danny says, well, I do it for free for people. Well, of course you do it for free because they're giving you their speaker so you can make the damn kit. You don't have to buy the damn speaker to make your own kit. You're doing it on the customer's coin, you know, and it's so funny. It's so easy to see through it, but he acts like he's not a salesman. And that's the funniest part. It's like, dude, you're totally just trying to sell your shit. Why don't you just be honest? Oh, I am. I'm being honest about the speakers, you know, like he's acting like he's honest. It's like, you're not being honest, dude. You're not just doing this like Robin Hood. You're after something, bro. Shout out to Kenny for the demos. There you go. Hi, Mike. Because of you, I pull out the fuses out of my Maggie, put in rhodium Cardis plugs, and direct solder 2 sounded better than ever, but need to change crossover now. Oh, you shouldn't need to change a crossover. Kenny has a hella cool show, and it's some nice linen shirts. Yeah, I know. He's got great duds. Get over here, brother. We'll raise the roof. You know it, man. GR points out, among other things, design features the old Wilson that are known to potentially cause problems, diffractions, too far distance between the drivers, comb filtering, and everything. Okay, so, but look at how he measured them. He measured them 1 meter away. Is that how you listen? No, you don't. Wilsons are designed to work from the listening position. You don't walk up to a Wilson and put your ear 1 meter away from it. You sit however many, 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet. That's where it should have been done. He should have recorded from the listening position because that's how, imagine that. Wilson designed something that wasn't the way Danny would design. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. But he thinks everybody needs to think like him. No, they don't, man. They design differently than you do, you know? And if we really want to talk about this with Wilson, guess who has said, I don't get Wilson? I've told you a million times. I thought it was, I've never felt that they sounded good to me. Now, I'm not saying Shane's got them. They probably sound great at Shane's, but, and now we find out that they're totally jacked up, evidently. Okay. So, you know, everybody loved to give me so much shit for saying I didn't like the sound. I never said they were bad speakers. I just said, I don't like the sound. Danny's on a new level saying, look, they're designing it in a shitty way. I mean, essentially, he's saying it in a polite way, but the gist of it is they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's the gist of the message. I know what I'm doing better than Wilson knows what they're doing. Well, then why is Wilson 100 times more successful than you are? You know, that's what we have to ask ourselves. We have to look at, don't listen to the words, look at the actions, look at the results, you know. You're in for the Aussie trip. There you go, man. Get over here, Steve. Okay, what's up, tribe? Okay, I'm going to invite I am going to invite Tony right now. I can't continue on because you guys will keep asking stuff, and I can't. So I'm going to pause this right here. Um, right here, and then I will come back to this. Maybe I look at these together with Tony. Let me call him up. Okay, Tony. Let's see if this is gonna work here. You guys might. Okay, can you guys hear that? You guys can probably hear that. Looks.
Hello.
Hey, Tony. We're live.
Hey,
We're
hey,
live. We're live, buddy.
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for joining us.
No problem.
So
I hope I can be helpful.
Yes, I'm sure you will. I will let everybody know real quick who we're talking to on the phone. We're talking to Tony Manassian in Los Angeles, in Burbank area, and luckily he didn't have to deal with the fires. He was spared that whole deal, which was a sad thing. But Tony has a experience in creating. In fact, I give away his CDs as gifts to my clients, and I've got some of them I've got hundreds of them over there because I bought a bunch. Tony has some, and he records from a label called Tonian Labs, and they're single take, 2 microphones, single take recordings, without overdub, without all this editing, and they're 1644, and there's some of the best sounding recordings I've yet heard, regardless of whether they're 1644 or high res or anything like that. And it just so happens they're 1644, and it's a great way to test systems out, is to listen. That's why I give them out. Great way to test your rig is to listen to Tony's recordings because they're done so well and it's so dynamic that it's a great test of an audio system. Tony is not only experienced in recording and reproducing music. He has designed his own speakers, which you guys saw in my recent video, the Oriacos. And Tony, and let me explain something. I'll let you. I'll let you talk in a second, Tony. I know I'm rolling here.
Sure.
But to give you guys a little bit of background, Tony has designed his own driver, and I saw this at one point. I saw pictures of his driver. I've never seen one in the wild, in real life. But this is an actual ground up driver. Okay, so when some guys say, like for instance, somebody in an email the other day said to me, I've designed drivers. Okay, look, you've told Peerless how to make a driver for you. You've told them, give it more Q, give it more this or that. That is not designing a speaker. I'm designing a driver. Designing a driver is getting CAD drawings, designing the basket, designing the motor structure, speccing in the magnet, speccing in the gap, all the specs in the whole thing, and doing a whole driver. Tony has done that, where he's made a whole complete driver, single driver speaker, beautiful, beautiful design. And so what we're listening to today with Oriaco and in my room was the culmination of all Tony's experience and his most refined, his best product yet. His well, I don't know if it's your best. Maybe it is. I assume it is. It's his most refined. He's all his experience is put into that speaker. And so I think what might be interesting for the people, Tony, is to hear what I was amazed to hear is that you use the cabinet as a stress or as a part of the tuning. And the reason I wanted to have you on tonight is because your speaker definitely is not going to measure flat, right? Like
no, actually, I'm the opposite of it. I believe in measurements, and without the measurement, we can't do anything and achieve this kind of sound. And I don't want to exaggerate it, but I have probably more than all the YouTubers, including the Europe, have measurement microphones. I have even 2 measurement microphones that rarely you can see. And I really believe in measurements. The only problem I have is I was using like regular standard meter CE 2034, but I will never achieve a satisfaction with regardless of microphone collection that I have for music. In the beginning, you said I use only 2 microphones. It's not. I use multiple microphones. Depends on the session. Sometimes I use 2, but mostly I mix live to 2 track.
Okay,
And
so you'll mix down to 2 track, but you might use like 5 microphones, for instance.
Yeah. It depends on the band. I'll do that.
Okay.
And we mixed live to 2 track. I recorded the EST, and I was trying to copy from DST to like 1644 for people to enjoy, and it fails. So, and I recorded in 1644 and I copied it. The result was way much better than I was recording in DST and converting through the analog section. And that wasn't what I meant. So I just basically, I said, ignore the DST, even though it sounded better. There is no mixing console you can use or manipulate or do this and that. So I said, okay, we're going to use just 1644, and that's what we're going to transfer 1-to-1. There will be no loss compared to the analog transfer.
Gotcha.
So that was the recording session. And it started like 32 years ago. I bought the best measurement microphone you can buy, that like all the measurement guys using it, including, the stereophile or other ones. It doesn't matter. So I recorded a simple thing. We had the BMW 801, like Abbey Road standard and Krell and stuff. Recorded simple thing, bought the Mess MIKEY and sounded like shit. When I was playing through them, and I said, how could be like the best microphone in the world, and this is claimed to be the best speaker in the world, Abbey Road using it, and it sounds that's horrible. And you listen to a 50s recording and the sound is beautiful. I mean, they didn't even have that technology back then, but how come they achieved that kind of sound? And that was the puzzle. And I start basically buying anything on the planet, microphone-wise, to see what is the secret. And I start recording and comparing to the whatever speaker we had. And basically, I tried to collect lots of old technology drivers and see what they have done back then that we're not doing nowadays market. And basically, I start importing. I didn't want to make the speaker. I used to work in an audio shop. I built the small monitors, and I was listening to myself with my recording. But every time the customer comes and they want to listen to that speaker also, and we had some other brands like PSP, BMW, some other brands, and that's what the owner wants to sell it. But the manager told me, like, if there is a customer like your speaker, you can sell it here, no problem. And I sold a few, and customer came and listened to it, and they prefer that one. And I wasn't really into building speakers and stuff like that. And I had the opportunity to buy a condo or import the Supra cables and PHY and AER, and I chose the other one. I wish I did the other one. So I would make more money right now. Anyhow, so I imported PHY and a Supra, and I was trying to be distributor. It was easier job than shipping speakers and this and that. And the PHY guy passed away, and I heard from some of and the new owner who bought them, he couldn't assemble it. They give it to some other guy to assemble it, and I asked them, why don't you send me a pair to compare it to the original PHY? See if it's the same, so I'll continue the distribution. You maybe even make it better. I don't know. And he said, no, you don't trust me, and blah, blah. And we just didn't get along. And I said, okay, forget it. I don't want it. And then I heard the AER guy from Germany was selling direct to the US consumer. And repair part because he was using foam surround, and the repair part was like really expensive. And I said, are you joking? This is not the way it's supposed to be. Like it was $700 for a cone replacement. And the customer has to ship like 2-day FedEx back and forth. It will cost him like a brand new one. It's just like crazy. And so I don't want that. And he split it with Voxative. It was his partner in Germany, and they came up with the two name. And the Supra guy passed away also, and his wife, second wife, was Chinese. And the last show I was there, there were lots of Chinese manufacturers coming in and showing the parts and stuff. And they want me to sell more Supra. And I said, you have to get the UL. 15 cents a foot Chinese cable in US has a UL. And you have lots of cable. I cannot sell it because it's going to go to the people's house. And if caught fire, there's a sue involved here. And it's your cable. You have to get the UL. And he said, no, you're the distributor. You have to get the email and blah, blah. And I said, you know what? I dropped the line. And I started designing. Meanwhile, I was working with some other stuff. And I designed my own drivers. And the cost was so high in the basket. I made the couple of pairs, 12 pairs, and I sold it. And I had to move from my place because the building was sold and I couldn't get a better place. And it just stopped right there. But
but the new speaker is pretty darn good, man. And what's your philosophy like when you're designing this thing? Tell us about your philosophy in this design.
Yeah, I did lots of inert cabinet, and every time I failed to reproduce it. That was the whole goal of audio reproduction. And I did even experiment with the resonant cabinet. And that's the hardest part because it's not an easy thing to do and it's not consistent enough. So you have to learn a lot of basically luthier to understand that part of the sound, that it's not every wood resonance the same, and you have to, and the speaker is not an actual instrument, but it has to help you to achieve that experience of actual acoustical instruments. And that's the hardest part to do. And I designed these and modified the woofers from the back, changed the suspension and stuff like that, something people cannot see that easily to appreciate. And I came up with my own calculation of how the sound is supposed to be to create the recording sound of the acoustical instruments.
Right.
And I did it for myself, and I'm happy what I did. And I start selling it. I really appreciate it. And I think your audience has to appreciate you. You had the big balls to even ask me to sell that speaker. You don't need my speaker. You already have a good speakers. And you have a line, that speaker has a line. And lots of time people think that, many manufacturers don't have a measurement system. That's why they put them up. But the measurement system is only gives clue to the manufacturer how they want to achieve the sound they're looking for. It's nothing really important because the sound or music is for your enjoyment. Nobody's life is in danger.
Right.
Nobody's going to get killed if he's not listening to music and stuff. And people making a big deal. I mean, there is measurements. I said, without the measurement, we are nobody and nothing for going forward.
Well,
but the measurements, it's for your own company's achievement.
Right.
It's like you somebody enjoying Coca-Cola, for example, and I'm telling him, don't enjoy it because there is 1% of absorbic acid in there or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Or asking a chef, where did you get your salt from? Is it Himalayan salt?
Yes.
Is it something?
Yeah, exactly.
Did you put the salt like 2 feet far from the food, or you put it like in 2 inches and gravity makes a difference?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I said, when you go to, it's unfortunate that this industry and some part is the audience, and like when you go to the show, some people, they come and ask you for every time they get excited and they hear something good, they will start asking, oh, what kind of crossover you have, or what is the slope, or what material you have. And I said, if you give me the money, I will make the speaker whatever slope and crossover point you want it.
Yeah, yeah,
But don't
exactly.
expect to sound it like this.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
And
and
just to
usually,
let the real quick, let me interject and hold that thought, is for the viewers that are watching, Tony's saying, like, when people come and listen and they hear good sound, they ask how the thing's built, as if telling you where the crossover point is going to be significant for another speaker. Okay, so in other words, let's say Tony says it's a two-way speaker, crossover point's 2000 hertz. You know, that tells you nothing, because if I go next door to another guy that has a crossover that's 2000 hertz, it's going to sound completely different. There's nothing that it's going to share. So it doesn't help you understand anything. And I think in many ways, when the industry started talking about engineering terms to the end user, it confuses everybody. And I think it's done to manipulate how people buy. I don't think it helps. I don't think it helps whatsoever. Now, I want to also make clear, I very much believe in measurements for the designer, for the manufacturer when they're making the speaker, but not for the end user. The listener doesn't need to know about the engineering shit. And it's you can see, if you do a video like the video I did yesterday with all the speakers, and these people come in and want to talk like they're engineer. Well, the off-axis response and and you're like, dude, you're pretending to be an engineer right now. You know, we know it. Okay. You're not, you know, and if people want to do that, you know, that's fine. But, you know, at least people need to understand, as listeners, you don't need to know this shit. Okay. This is for DIY people that want to go down the rabbit hole and go off into the weeds of all the specs and stupid stuff like that, and punch their little calculators and do that shit. Like, look, if you want to do that, it's fine. But that's a DIY crowd, whatever. You want to be an engineer, be an engineer. But to come into the listening room and then try and talk, or to try and sell you a product by going into the measurements and how the crossover is done and all this kind of stuff, I think it's misleading. You know, you got to listen with your ears, and more importantly, with your heart.
there's, excuse me, but there's
No,
lots of things we don't even understand about measurements.
That's true.
There is lots of things that is missing, because if it wasn't missing, we would have achieved by the standard that is already out there. There's a bunch of companies have done great job with it. But sometimes I even think that I'm taking my recordings and going to some other systems and listening to it, and I think, oh, I failed. This is not a, I mean, the people who have the other system, they just get goosebumps. Oh, this is a great recording and stuff. And I said, no, I don't hear the way it's supposed to be heard. It's just ridiculous. I mean, and it's weird. And that's what I was getting it, with following the regular standard measurement system. And once you understand, you know, there's a bunch of people that help the industry to get the measurement done correctly and pass it to the engineers. And that's a good thing. That's something. But I personally don't think, if I have a certain kind of measurement, I have to share with the buyer. There's no need to be shared.
Yeah, exactly. It's like going to a Michelin restaurant and you taste something, and then you want to know what the recipe is to the chef.
Yeah.
Oh, let me know your recipe and how you make this. You know, you would never do that. But why do you do it with speakers?
Yeah, another point that I have is just like, I'm collecting lots of magazines from Japan and lots of other places. So when you listen to like Japanese, or look at their Japanese magazines or English magazines, they're always raving their stuff. Like English stuff is superior than Americans, or Japanese, or vice versa. The only country that's degrades the electronics or speakers is USA. They always trying to bash them down. It's just, I don't know why. And
we're dominating.
For example, the Wilson Audio, it doesn't matter if people like the sound or don't like the sound.
Right.
That guy has 50, 60 employees, and they all making money.
Yeah.
By destroying that company, saying this is a bad product, you're not going to help those families.
Right. Yeah.
It's just that part is
Well,
just,
I think
doesn't make sense.
if I think Danny's view is that he's helping Wilson make a better product.
Yeah, I mean, Wilson has its own philosophy. They will never
Yeah.
change it because that's what they believe in it. I mean, like every company believe in it. There are sometimes people coming to the market and saying, okay, and almost everybody who come to the market, they have certain adjective, and it all of them make sense when you hear it. Like some people, they come and say, okay, we design our speaker with human voice. It's an evolution for billion years, million years, and you always know that voice. That makes sense. It's absolutely right. But when you come to practice, all the vocals, almost the pop music or something, is like 1 inch far from the microphone, and nobody talks to your ear like that.
This.
You know, and yeah, I mean, it's just a joke. You know, it's never gonna be correct, and usually people, nobody sings a meter far from the microphone, like a regular conversation between two people.
Yes.
And some people getting excited and say, oh, if the human voice is right, the speaker is right. Or some other one, somebody comes and says, we have to use this material in earth. And I was going to put the sign on my speaker that don't hurt your knuckles. It's ringing like hell.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I'm not claiming that I'm an engineer. I'm a individual researchers. I have over a couple of hundred microphones that I record, and I have lots of high efficiency collection of the drivers that has been built by, you know, old days, and I know what they're doing and what it needs to be done.
Yeah.
I couldn't find, to be honest, nowadays I cannot find any driver that suits for the music reproduction. None of them have a good impulse response, and that's more important than any frequency response.
Yep.
So
Steve DeHardy will agree with you on that.
There will be lots of bass, but it's not music. You go to live jazz, unless they amplify the bass, you don't hear the bass like that. You enjoy music regardless you're sitting back or side of it or the other one. And that's how I wanted my speakers to be like that. You can turn your head back to it and hear everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to be sitting in front of it. And, you know, I sold it, not sold it. I auditioned to one guy, had a very expensive speaker. And the next day he texted me and says, one thing I like about your speaker, you demoed it. You came in, we put the stand, you put it in the top of the stand and you said play. You didn't even touch 1 millimeter. And it was off like hell. And it sounded good everywhere we were going.
Yep.
In the room.
Yeah.
And that was basically the philosophy of it. So I cannot share more than that, but if there's any question, I'll be glad to answer to clear up something.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
well, let me look down the line here and I can come back to some of the stuff before, but let's see if anybody has, if any of y'all have any questions for Tony here. Let's go. Let me see where we come up. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so here we start right here. Hi, Tony. Okay, here someone says we are constantly talking about what speakers are not supposed to sound like, flat, boring, so we can measure boring. Then can we really? Music lovers want what is musically, emotionally engaging. That's right.
Oh, I want to clarify something else.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, when you ask so many engineers that everyone knows that the microphones and the speakers are the opposite version of each other. And there are manufacturers came in the past and they said the source is the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
And it
like
makes
the
sense.
Recording?
Yeah, the source, which is the microphone. I mean, basically the microphone and speaker are opposite of each other. So you can't record music with a speaker. like Yamaha, some people using Yamaha driver to record a kick drum. But basically, that's a false statement in my opinion. I may be wrong, but source is not the actual important part, is the end. The reason is most of the microphones are made like 1 inch from ½ inch, quarter inch to 1 inch. And the speakers are 5, 6, 4, 7, 8, 10. And the distortion, if they're the same, the distortion of the driver is far more than a 1 inch
from the
microphone.
Mm-hmm.
So the only one that maybe you can find is the ribbon 2-inch microphones, which are bidirectional. But the weight and impulse response are so fast on the ribbons that even, you know, they're more accurate sometimes than the dynamic microphones. And that's what people liked in the past, and they came up with it. But overall, there is no way if 8-inch driver or 6-inch driver will be more accurate than a 1-inch microphone. So the end is really more important than the front. So, but almost 30 years I'm listening to, the source is the most important part. You have to have the source. No, the end is the most important part. Yep. Then is the source.
Right. That makes sense. Now here's somebody, let's see this guy who thinks he knows something. And here is a typical example of, I'm just going to say it how I feel it. A numbnuts, you know, here's a numbnuts that's going to come in and say, owning a bunch of microphones means nothing. Okay. Let me explain to you how, and then Tony, you can explain too, but I'm sure you're probably going to say the same thing. Tony records using microphones, so he knows what the recording is supposed to sound like. So when he listens to a speaker, he knows if it's recreating what was recorded accurately or not. So by having different microphones, you hear different tonalities, different frequency responses, and you get very familiar with the different sonics in recording different things. So your ear is very attenuated and attuned to hearing those differences. And if you can't hear that difference in a speaker, then you know the speaker is not doing the job, because you know the differences. You know, an SM57 sounds like this. You know, a Neumann U87 sounds like this. And if you can't hear the difference between the two in a speaker, the speaker's not doing its job. So it's necessary to have microphones if you need to know what a speaker sounds like. Now, some people may design just not knowing what recordings sound like, but Tony actually records and then makes a speaker at the end of it. So he knows the whole process. He's not just making the speaker. And you can expand on that, Tony. He's saying that.
So if the measurement wasn't important, why the measurement companies making from 1/8 of an inch to a 1 inch different? Like they have a quarter inch, ½ inch, and 1 inch measurement microphone, and they have a diffuse width and far field. It's like, if you haven't tasted so many variation of the salt, how do you know which one you like?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
so you'd have to have like to Tony's point. What you're just going to have one little, quarter inch microphone and it's going to work for everything? No.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. Let me give you an example. Like 99% of the snare is being recorded with the Shure SM57 in the market, if you look at it. And I always asking the cable guys and say, why we have to listen to, why I have to pay $5,000 cable to listen to a $99 microphone? Wouldn't be wise to use a $5,000 microphone and use a regular cable?
Yeah.
The result wouldn't be better? But it's not like that. And some companies, they come and say, oh, diffraction is a big problem. And to have a diffraction, you have to have a 2.5 to 3 inches roundness to eliminate. You can see diffraction. It's a science, it's physics, it's nothing to lie about. But I'm going to give you the example. I may not be right. I don't want to claim anything. But the snare is being recorded 1 to 2 inch maximum. And if you look at the snare, there is tons of diffractions, the sharpest edge you can imagine. And you record only partially, maybe 1 or 2 inch of it. And the rest of the diffraction of that snare will be like maybe a couple of dB down, 50 dB down, or 30 dB down, whatever. Maybe your sharp speaker will add that diffraction and make it sound more real to you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't want to diffract that sound. So there's a bunch of things that I said they're pitching to sell, but in reality it doesn't work. It's not that way.
Yep.
Like when you play guitar, I don't think your wife or kids gonna come to you and say, "Hey, Dad, sit here. You're sitting in a knoll of the room. I can't hear your guitar well."
Right.
You know, if you shot, it's very simple. Audio is simple. They're making it complicated.
Yes, that's it.
If you're in a room and you're shouting to your kids, your room is very damp. If you're in a room that it echoes, that's too bright. You have to dampening down. If you have a regular couch and stuff like that, it should be okay.
Yep. Yeah.
You don't have to spend too much to fixing your room. You should enjoy it. If you play guitar or bass and you're enjoying it, you should be enjoying it. The speaker also the same way.
Yep. Agreed. Here's another question for you, Tony. Did Tony know a guy called Stu-Rad Uno, Uncle Stu in Hawaii? He is no longer alive.
No, I never had a chance to meet him, but I heard he's really top-notch dealer, and he understood electronics very well on speakers.
Yes. Yep. Okay, I got you. Let's see if there's any other questions. Let's see here. Yes, I thought I heard the Oriako is an acronym for original acoustics. That is correct.
Original acoustics, not original.
Yeah. Oh, it's called, what is it?
Origin of acoustic.
Origin of acoustic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Origin of acoustic. Okay. Got it.
God makes the sound not to be visible. Other than that, we would be crazy seeing all the frequencies and notes going in the house.
Oh, that's right, man. Yeah. So if you really want to drive yourself crazy, get in front of a laptop with visuals of the sound. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Somebody's asking you to talk about the top firing tweeter.
Yeah. Well, top firing tweeter is padded down, basically. It's not in the same plane, so it doesn't cause any anomalies that much. And when you listen to the cymbals or some other thing, because the sound radiates really everywhere, the cymbals are going up and down. And when you listen to regular tweeter, it's usually pushing forwards all the time. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a kind of an omni speaker, but not omni. And that extension of the top, it creates a little bit of a 3D sound on the top.
Mm-hmm.
I should have not even talked about this. And I should have said that's for enjoyment, the top tweeter.
Right.
Anyhow.
Yeah, it's the speaker clit.
Yeah.
Yeah, the monkey button.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. We'll see if we got. Here's another question. Since your cabinets resonate like an instrument, will with the sound, will it change as the cabinet ages? Will the sound change as the cabinet ages?
No, it's not built 100% like the instruments, because it doesn't have to sound like an instrument. It helps the harmonics and overtone to be created like an instrument.
Got it.
And there is a flaws in microphone technology, and that will help to compensate that.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Here's another question. What type of speaker magnets do you prefer for the best sound? I think Alnico magnet speakers sound more natural and organic, ?
No, that's a kind of a myth. It doesn't matter what kind of magnet you use. It's the motoring structure that it makes it different, because the reflection from the voice coil hitting the pole piece and coming back to the cone, and the ceramics are weak. It has to be wider, so the top frequency is more distorted. That's what it causes. But if you know what you're doing, the magnets don't have a sound. You can create a field coil magnet, which is dampening the pole piece at a lots of strength, but it doesn't mean anything. Only it's the high frequency. Then you have to pad it down. If you have to use a lower voltage to get a higher Q to make it balance. So, and the alnicos are dampening, and it's a little bit more smoother, but overall, it really doesn't matter. If you don't know what you're doing, then it's matter. The alnicos are, they cost superior, but it's not. It's just more expensive to build. You have to build it this way. It's the source is not easily available. You have to have a certain size and thing. And electromagnet will be the easiest choice to wind it copper around the pole piece and have something driving in a field coil from like 5 to 12 volts and have a different efficiency. That's the most strength, but there's a bunch of things can be done in a driver design to compensate that. You can have a stiffer suspension, a medium suspension. You can have a stiffer surround or not stiffer surround. You can have a rubber surround, foam surround to compensate those things. I personally think I should have not say that, but lots of people getting offended and said, if you have a driver that has a rubber surround, put it in the trash, regardless of the price.
Okay, here's another one that says, hey, Tony, I spent an hour today listening to the Tony and drivers before jumping into the tribe. So he was listening on your speakers. I guess Nick has a pair. Nick Sardone.
Yeah, I think
you might know him. Here's a question.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Tony, what is the maximum SPL that most microphones can handle before clipping?
Well, the smaller they get, like the BNK that I have, the capsule, it's a 1/8 of an inch, and it can handle up to 160, 170.
Wow.
And then average, the old microphones, they can handle up to 110. The new ones up to 140. If you know what you're doing, you hardly can clip it nowadays with the microphones like the old days. I mean, most of the speaker manufacturer, unfortunately, they're not into recording. So if you don't know what the source is, how do you know? They're all based on a recording that people recommended to them. And God knows what the molestation is done to that recording, from compression to equalization to this. I'm not saying they're bad. It's just you don't know and you have no clue. The best way I recommend to use a loom line recordings to test your equipment to see how they've been produced music to you, or some 2-track classical omnis or something like my record, whatever. I'm not saying my recordings are the best, but overall, something that you know that it will be not molested that much in a studio. Because, you know, if you have a bad monitors, God knows what they've done to. I'm not saying it's just like the engineers in the recording session, they rely on the monitor and they EQ 100 times.
Exactly.
It's just, there's no question.
Yep.
And besides that, when you send your mastering, the mastering will touch it like crazy to make it playable in a different place.
That's right.
Because the tracking engineers, they're really not researchers to replicate the exact sound. They don't have the monitor to do it. So they have a certain monitor, which is
NS10.
common.
Yeah.
The NS10 was so bad in the beginning that the guy says, if you make a sound that it sounds good on the speaker, that make a good sound, which is a wrong impression. You have to have the most accurate speaker measurements on your monitor, so you know what your microphone is doing, so you don't touch it that much to the EQ and compression to make it, to lose the dynamics, basically. Most of the recordings, they don't have that much of dynamics.
Yeah, Right.
My recordings have tons of dynamic range, and you can hear it from small to the highest one.
Yep. That's I can attest to that. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's all subject. It's all depends. It's all selling. It's like if somebody is making vinyl, or somebody is in a business of selling vinyl, or getting money from somehow from vinyl or whatever, do you think they're going to talk about digital? Obviously, no. They're going to trash the digital. And the
Right.
same thing with digital. If somebody is making digital and they say this is superior and this and that, and this is a joke, because any format, this is for enjoyment, and any format you enjoy it, it's good enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is, if it's CD or vinyl or tape or 8-track or whatever. It's a joke. It's a nonsense. Technically speaking, the CD should be superior. But why you want to get the enjoyment out of people who enjoying vinyl? I mean, vinyl with all mechanical, the turntables have so many flaws. And it's every mechanical engineer or electronic, you ask them, they will explain it to you.
Yep.
But still, people are enjoying. Why you want to say that's a bad format? It's not.
Right.
It's a format, people.
They're
If you
enjoying
have the,
it.
I personally don't have the time for it.
Right. Likewise.
But if people are enjoying it, why you want to even bash it like that one?
Sure.
Like, the problem with the digital is when the digital came, lots of kids can do recording now that with the new toys and stuff.
Yep.
And before that, there were like less musicians, not less musicians, but less group that they would be successful and have an album.
Sure.
After digital, there's so many albums that can be done, and all of them who have the ability to record, they think their shit is good,
Yeah.
and and it's just putting it out, and that's why people getting those CDs and say, "Oh, this is bad." Another thing, for so many years, I heard that people say, I was in the beginning, I start to print my own CDs, and I was recording one by one for the customers. I know they didn't appreciate that part because it's so time consuming. And I heard from so many in the magazine reading it that if you put it to the manufacturer and stamp it with and it will read in all the CD players, and that would be the best thing to do. It's better than you burning it. And I said, okay. I called the manufacturers. Okay, this is the files, and they make it 2 versions of it and send it to me. And I listened to it and said, this is absolutely bad. All the harmonics and overtone is gone on the CD. What is this piece of shit? And they said, no, we have an engineer. We matched the files and all look the same. There's nothing. We put it out of phase, and if there's any abnormality, it would show up and blah, blah. And I said, okay, listen, if your engineer or your monitoring system that you have, you cannot hear the difference between your CD that you give me and my copy that I send you, you have to fire that engineer or change your monitor. I cannot believe that.
Yeah.
So what I did, I burned the CD and sent it to them. And the engineer called me and says, yeah, there is a difference. I can hear the difference. I said, that's what I'm saying. I said, I don't know what is the problem. Is it in your processing, which is that stamping the aluminum? They make a glass master out of your master, and they just stamp it for easy replication. So I don't know. It's kind of a hidden, it's not hidden, but it's not normal to regular engineers to know about it because they don't work. All they said, if you do that, then it was compatible with all the CD players. But if you burn it, back then, like the Pioneer or Sony or Philips, they manipulate a little bit. So if you burn it, they won't play on the other CD player. And some CD players, they don't read the CDRs. And that was a problem. Now I think all of them, they can read CDRs, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the problem. So if that's the case, and the CD duplication take away all the harmonics and stuff, so obviously it's not the digital fault. It's the processing of the companies who started it to do that way. is the fault of it. It's not the digital fault, it's the processing fault. And
Mm.
then you compare the digital, that's the funny part, but people comparing a digital and they put the analog version, which is manipulated differently. And then you have a cartridge, and I have lots of pictures that I have cartridges that they have 16 dB boost on a high frequency. And you can manipulate analog. That's the easiest thing. And some people, they think, oh, they already find the holy grail, and that's what they pitch in because they can show to their friend, oh, listen to this, I did this, and it's analog and it's much better. It's not. And the other thing is just like analog, you have a way of like rolling tubes or doing that, and you change the sound, and it's never gonna be correct because it's not done correctly. Yeah. And the same thing with the measurement. If you ask any man of engineers on the planet and says, do you think any microphone is perfect? They will say no, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
How do you want to confirm an unperfect microphone to a perfect measurement? It's impossible.
Yeah.
That's where the flavoring comes from the manufacturers. I mean, one of the biggest manufacturers that I respect a lot is B&W, Bowers and Wilkins, because it's not about sound. I respect it because they hire some engineers, they train them, and they give them one project and says, make this speaker, and they don't touch it. And if you look at the stereo file, the B&W measurement is all over the place. But it doesn't mean anything because they know they always never publish it because they know people have a different taste and flavor and they want these or the other ones. So it's up to you to go and audition it. And if it's resonant with you, you buy it. If you don't, it's like the show. You go to the room. If it resonates with you, you buy the whatever equipment they're selling. If not, go to the other ones. But I have a friend who keep telling me, everyone talks at the show. Why you don't talk? And I said, I brought my speaker. They should talk for me.
Exactly.
If they don't resonate with anybody, how can I push them to buy it? I tell them I have a silver wire inside to buy it, or, give them like example like that Mundorf cap. I have this cap. I have that cap. I don't know. It's just weird. So the speaker should speak itself. And if somebody's interested, we'll buy it. If not, then it's not. What am I supposed to say?
That's it.
It's just
That's it. That's what it boils down to. And hence the reason for my video and this conversation is, that the proof is in the pudding and the proof is in the listening, really, only, and the enjoyment of what the end user has in their perception, and if somebody loves whatever, a shitty designed quote unquote speaker, then why does anybody give a shit? Why do you want to fix it? It's like, again, we go back to the restaurant thing. If I don't like the spaghetti at Frank's,
you're not going to go back.
Am I going to try and tell Frank and that I can make a better spaghetti for him? Or no, I'll either make my own and then get in the game if I want, or I'll go find somebody else that makes spaghetti the way that I want it. So it's just backwards to try and tell you that something needs to be fixed. Fred's spaghetti needs to be changed.
Yeah. Let's say if I have a chain, if I have a food chain, so I create a food that people like, let's say Coca-Cola or whatever. So I have so many customers and I have to measure things to give it to the other plants to make the same way so people can enjoy the same thing. That's where the measurements come from. You have to measure it to give it to like Japanese plant to make the Coca-Cola the same.
Sure.
But for average restaurant, it doesn't have to be the same.
Yeah. Yep. Very true. So here's somebody asked, what are Tony's thoughts on 432 hertz music tuning? Do you know that? Like A440 for the A4, where the pitch standard musical
that's
pitch?
That's the musical pitch they use in a classical, I think.
Yeah, and do you know the whole thing about 432 and then it was changed to 440?
It used to be that, and they changed it to 440. I'm not a musician, and don't care about that part.
Okay, it's all good. Okay, so let's see. Here's somebody joking. I definitely want to know the specs. It translates to what I hear. Exactly. If you see it's like suggestive reasoning, right?
Well,
I've
I
got a
mean, if they
speaker
can,
named the sexy blonde with big tits. You know,
yeah.
it's gonna sound better.
And I mean, honestly, I think all the measurements guys are like this. I'm one of them. I'm talking about myself, not the other ones, but I don't even have a patience when some new drivers coming to listen. I put it in the measurement. I don't have time for it. It's just like rarely you have to live with the speaker for at least a month to even understand that speaker, changing the gears or whatever and
Oh, sure.
position and
Yeah.
try to. I mean, sometimes you're not in the mood, sometimes the electricity is shut, whatever it is. Sometimes you're sick, whatever. You have to at least spend a month to get the judgment. But mostly, if I have the measurement, I just put it in the right in the first minute. And I want to see what it does to me,
Yes.
what it measures. And then I'll start listening later on and manipulating later on. But overall, that's not, people have to listen to it and then talk about it. And that's what lots of manufacturers, they don't want to put out their measurement. Do you think Fisher and Fisher doesn't have a measurement system, or the other ones don't have a measurement?
Right.
BMW has Dynaudio has one of the best measurement systems. And all of their speakers measure very similarly. It's just crazy good measurement system. But some people like it. Some people say it's boring. It just doesn't matter. It's just,
Yep.
I mean, they never publish their measurement because there's no need for it. I mean, they
Right,
show their
exactly.
measurement system.
Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, just listen to it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. If you like it, buy it.
No, I think it's a good thing. I think if I had a measurement system and I was trying to sell the pitch or whatever, I will contact all the small manufacturers who don't have the system and ask them if they wanted their product to be measured well, and if they have a flaw, they can tell it.
Exactly.
And they will charge like $2,000-$3,000, and I think the industry will be better.
Provide the service.
And I think the
it's
product
like why didn't Danny just go to Wilson and say, "Would you like me to, measure and be if that's your shtick, then do it." But it's not.
Wilson Audio has a measurement system.
Course,
they even have a laser scanner. They can even scan all the part of the cones.
Yeah. And I will guarantee you they measure it different than Danny did.
Yeah, they have different. No, it doesn't matter how it's been measured. That's their flavor.
Right.
That's they listening for hours and hours, and they come up with a conclusion. This is the sound we wanted, and they have a recording engineer on their side that he listened to it, and he has the speaker in his house and tell them, it doesn't matter if you like it or not. That's their sound. It's their flavor. It's their restaurant.
Yeah.
You don't like it, don't eat it over there. It's just simple as that.
Simple.
It's very simple. Audio is very simple. We made it so complicated.
That's part of my whole thing with this is that is complicating it with spec, with names of component parts, with telling you what kind of chip, or is it R2R, or is it this, or is it that, and it just makes it so much more confusing than it needs to be, because it's very simple audio, but they just want to make it confusing so that you feel like a dumbass, and then they can sell you some new spec that you don't understand, that you're trying to pretend that you do understand, because they make you feel bad if you don't understand. It's just a whole psychology, and I think it's manipulation, and I refuse to participate. But look, Tony, I am going to let's move this on so I can go back and talk about things that people are asking that don't have anything to do with us. But I really appreciate you joining. Where the name of Tony's company, so everybody knows, is Oriaco, ORIACO Audio.
Yeah.
And is it online? What's the website?
It's TonianLabs.com.
TonianLabs.com. So TONIANLABS.com. And he's got his music there too. You can get music, the recordings.
My website is nothing. It's just we'll work on it soon, but overall, and I think if people who are really interested and they want to get to the bottom of the measurement and differences and stuff, they should read some audio designer engineering books and Dr.
Sure.
Tooley's book that he spent lots of time in anechoic chamber, understood and add up to the physics. And there's audio unleashed sites, I think, on the YouTube. Those guys are really into telling the truth, kind of. They can reach out to them and listen to their stuff. They're just sometimes I laugh. They laugh at some crazy stuff, and I laugh it too. It's just nonsense. They're real good engineers, and they do review for a long time.
Sure. Yep.
And I think the other guy is good. Is the guy in Hawaii, Janusz? He knows lots of stuff. People should listen to him. He's not just fooling around with people, and he's not there to sell things.
Okay. Fantastic. All right, man.
Okay, man. Okay. I'll let you go.
Thanks, Tony. Appreciate you joining.
No problem.
Okay,
take
buddy.
Care, man.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Okay, everybody. So thanks to Tony Manassian of Tonian Labs and Oriaco. Again, he said you can go to tonianlabs.com, TONIAN labs.com. And he's still working on the site. It's not that important. What's, again, more important is not the marketing, but the actual product and how it delivers. So let me pick back up, look where I left off. How are Fleetwood speakers, except expensive? There's a pair of used ones for sale. I have no idea, man. I don't know anything about Fleetwood. D'Agostino warranty claims are crazy. Yeah, it is. I mean, I've heard just horror stories, especially about that Relentless, which is supposed to be just like a big failure, that amplifier. And it was this is, if anybody doesn't know what it is, it's a $250,000 amplifier. And it just kept breaking. They would keep overheating or whatever problem they had. It was a common problem, and they would go back again and again to get repairs. And every time you're paying for shipping, and it's a real pain. Oh, Ron, you got vids. I don't think the comparisons as necessarily greater or less than matter. I view it as a way to determine relative value. How are you going to determine value with speaker? Okay, so you're hooked. Okay, so okay, what Mr. Livingston here is describing is that he thinks that he wants to determine value using specs. That is why what do you go into a TV place and you want the highest contrast ratio? Do you want don't you understand that this is a way that we hustle you? So in other words, there's nobody that there is no governing body. I won't get jailed if I tell you my speakers go to 20 hertz. So if I know that you buy based on specifications or comparisons, right? I can tell you my speakers are flat to 20 hertz. I can just tell you that. I can lie to you completely. And there's no governing body that's going to do that. If you print it and you put it somewhere, you could probably get FTC involved if they were so inclined, which they probably have too much things to do to get involved. But really, this is where the fluffing happens, is in the specs and the measurements, which, as we heard from Tony, can be all over the map. There is no one way to measure anything, and there is no perfect way to measure anything. So it's a great way to hustle. Some people act like Wilson Audio doesn't have speaker engineers. Exactly, as if there's only one in the world. That is exactly my sentiments. Like, you don't think that the most successful company has engineers. There's a reason they made those choices. They know exactly why there's a big cap there. They know why all this stuff. And then they potted their crossovers to keep pesky people out of there. And so you don't know what's inside the potting. So there could be another cap inside the potting. There could be something else. Nice to know about D'Agostino. Yeah, it's kind of an unspoken thing. I like American Hi-Fi, owner of the Moto Guzzi Lama, Flagger, Chronograph, Touch Cream, Streamer, and old school Japanese service. Saying you like Magico says a heck of a lot about those two guys, in my opinion. I couldn't agree more, brother. I mean, look, anybody you just have to go listen to him, man. And then, if you like that sound, then it's fine. There's nothing wrong with you liking that sound. It's just I know what kind of sound you like, and I could probably turn you on to better sound. Unless you like analysis paralysis. Don't forget to like this video. Thanks, Mike. Yes, if you haven't liked the video, please give this video a thumbs up. Click the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. And just to let me know that you like what I'm doing, I'm going to turn this gain down a little bit because I think I'm getting a... So let's see here. Gene Hiraga did resonate tuning speakers, right? There's some Voight pipe designs. Yep, they couple the driver to the chassis to resonate. Yeah, I'm not familiar with them, but I do know about the Voight pipes. Don't sleep on old JBLs. Their drivers were superior to a lot of drivers made today. I've listened to many. Yeah, absolutely. They're collectible. Jay and Danny will be at Southwest. They say there will be a room. Well, Danny will have a room, I mean, Jay doesn't design shit. I mean, Danny should have a room there. It's in his freaking backyard, isn't it? Let's see how good it is against the other shit. Let's see how good he is. That's what he should do, man. Make your own shit and go out and compete against Wilson. If you think you can do it better, do it better. GR Research and Exotica and Extremes are the best speakers I've ever heard. Oh, I've heard the opposite. Better than literally any top brand. That's bullshit. You're really hating somebody who pushes the underdog, much like yourself. I don't hate Danny. I just don't think he's that great, bro. I don't have any hate. I don't have a hate in my little finger. I don't have an ounce of hate in me. It gives you cancer. So I don't do it. Well, I mean, clearly you're a Danny fanboy, which is great. I know he's got a couple, and he's going to be at the show. So let's go into the rooms and let's hear it. We know that you think it's great. I don't think it's great, but we'll see. Maybe I go in the room. Maybe I think it's great. I'll be honest. If it is great, I'll tell you. Be like, well, the guy can make a speaker, I don't think it's going to stand out. He's known for what? Polk Audio, Emotiva. What else has he worked on? Other things he can't work on, but he named a bunch of things that he worked on. None of them were high end. They were all mid-level, mid-grade shit. And that's how I just, okay, great. So you're good at doing mid-grade, mid-level shit, Thanks for that, Mikey. Deborah and I are stoked. The Fisher and Fishers have changed our musical life. You know it, buddy. It's been a game changer. That's what we do. Listen to music all the time now when not doing the show. Absolutely. You bet, Kenny. Seems like the result of miking a speaker 1 meter away would just tweak the crossover closer to near field. Yes, exactly. It's like then I mean, Wilson is set up for listening in the listening position. That's when they all have time delay and they're all aimed to the listening position. And if you put the microphone close, it's going to be off. It's not the way they tune it, man. So of course you're going to get different results. So that is so correct, mate. Wilson works on time alignment from the listening position. Yeah. Hello. That's how they should have been measured. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. A good example is Teal speakers. Total respect for them, but I find them unlistenable. They are time coherent, et cetera, but just not nice. Yeah. Teal are extremely hard to get dialed in. When you get them dialed in, they're amazing, but they're very hard to. It's a very unforgiving speaker, for very much so. Classified, their resale sucks. Which ones? I don't know which one you're talking about. We are constantly talking about what speakers are not. Yeah, we did that so we can measure. We did that. Music lover, just about what's good. We have experienced it sometime with good hi-fi rig, one with real live music, but what is it? Can we measure it besides describing our feelings when we experience it? Yeah, and not everything can be measured, right? I mean, science people think that everything that we feel can be measured. It's not true. Yes, Shane, all the way. Maybe we need a human subject to measure it on and do a CT scan. Can it have something to do with the human Resonance. I don't know, man. It could. How is it that music can heal emotional and physical pain for some people? Yeah, it's healing. It's the vibration, man. Well said, Mikey. The only things that matter is how the sound is experienced in the listening position. That is correct. Yes, the only way. Great to have Tony on. Yes, it was. Owning a bunch of we already went through this guy. It thinks he knows. Did Tony? No. Oh, yeah, we went through that one too. David, room EQ wizard for subfrequency, attenuate, tweeter for taste. Yeah, I do not like DSP, but Carl does, which is fine. One of the funniest things I hear people say is they're chasing a flat speaker response in their room that would put me to sleep. Yeah, absolutely. Flat room responses, horrid. Uncle Stu from Audio Direct. If you like rock music, check out Frank Black and the Catholics. His 6 studio albums were all recorded live to 2-track. So good. Cool. Check it out, man. Yes, Shane, I don't get it. And my background is in sound engineering. That's right. So Shane's got experience. Any thoughts on Pure Audio Project speakers? Yeah, they're great, man. I used to show with them at shows. And I did their foils. The when you bought the foil upgrade or the speaker cable upgrade, I was the guy that made them. I do not have time to do any of the cable stuff anymore, but it's coming back around. I'm in meetings this week with the manufacturers. Best is so relative. Yeah, it truly is. Tony sounds exactly like the guy from Daft Punk. Subs need their own private box. Yeah, I don't believe so. I mean, in a perfect world, you'd be able to, put them in the room where you wanted to, where they look good, but they don't always work that way. Giorgio Moroder. Did hear my Dutch importer, the Dan D'Agostino amps. I agree that the Relentless apps are over the top, but the best sounding amp is the tube sounding Progression integrated 23,000. I've not even heard about that one. Have you heard the AGD solo monoblocks? I can only imagine they're badass. Yeah, that's their top of the line. I have not heard them. I've got some going into Florida this week, but they are the duets. So they're not the solos. They're the duets. But man, so far I sold duets to a guy with avant-garde horns, and man, he was so happy with them. I thought I heard the Oriaco is, yeah, okay, we went through that. It's a lot of coin. It is. 250 is, and it is. Nobody's life is in danger. Yeah, I love this guy. You know it, man. Sounds like Giorgio. I agree. Yeah, right. Just played that track while he's talking, and it's him. Bach is engineering chaos. Yeah, tell us more, Shane. What do you think? System synergy is all about your tastes as a listener. That's it. That is it, man. That is all that it matters. Talk about the top firing tweeter. We did talk about that. That was very interesting. Nice setup, man. The 650 scales up surprisingly well, depending on what you feed it. Yeah, the 650 or 670. Are you talking about the HD, these things? I don't know. Shane starts with tonality. Yes. Yes, Carl. How you judge tonality we listen for is about your taste as a listener. Totally true. Yep. Watching that interview with Jay and Danny was great audio satire. Yeah, I did not watch it. I can't watch anybody's videos. It does two things. Either it'll infuriate me and then I'm pissed. And because I think of I just think of all the shit you guys are getting shoveled, or I feel that hi-fi is hopeless and I'm just hanging out with a bunch of idiots. And what am I doing with all these idiots, and not everybody, right? But just in general, it's just so dorky, and so stupid and so petty. And there's so many crumb snatchers fighting over crumbs. And it's just like, Jesus, I can't participate. It makes me lose hope. So I need to insulate from the industry. That's why I created Hi-Fi Tribe, is to insulate. Now I can talk with you guys. I can ignore everybody else. I can ignore the whole industry. I can ignore the media. I can ignore everything. I don't have to pay attention to it. I've got you guys. That's all I ever wanted, just a great group of people to hang out with, people that I can stoke on hi-fi gear and set you up. And and make you happy, man. And then we can all hang out. Wouldn't measurement specs such as efficiency and frequency range be important? Frequency range is, I mean, if you're talking about frequency range, first of all, there's no governing body. So you can make that shit up. Okay. So that's the first thing. The first thing is there's nobody policing it. So you can say whatever you want. So how important is that? It's unregulated information. Okay. So, and next of all, if they do tell you those things, they don't tell you, many times they give you half a specification. They'll tell you measures from 20 hertz to 25,000. Okay. But they're not telling us how are they measuring. So that to say the frequency response is 20 to 20, let's say, that is an incomplete specification. Okay. A lot of you guys just swallow it and say, oh, it does 20 to 20. If you even ask what is his frequency and someone says it's 20 to 20 and you go, oh, okay, it just shows there's a bunch of dorks in the room that don't understand how to actually talk engineering. Because if you are talking engineering, you're going to be like, what is the frequency response plus or minus 3 dB using a 1 kilohertz tone? Or you say, what is the frequency response plus or minus 3 dB? And then they're going to give you a rate from here to here. Okay, was that pink noise, white noise, full frequency, which is I can't remember, one of those, white noise, or was it a tone, a test tone? If it was a test tone, what tone was it at? The impedance curve can be helpful. Let me see what the impedance curve is and how reactive the speaker is, and then you know what amp to match it up with. So, but those are for like me to do, like the person that is your professional to do. You know, if you want to be the audio professional, then go for it, man. I mean, you make my job easier. Then you just call up and tell me what you want. But if typically for people that want to hire a professional, you hire me and I know all that shit. It's my job to learn it so that you don't have to. And that's how I do business. I learn all the shit. My customers talk to me. They trust me. Mikey, set me up. Here's how much I want to spend. You tell me what's best. Here's my room. Here's how I listen. Here's the dimensions, all that stuff. And then I will make a suggestion for them, their best that I can offer them at their price range. And they just trust me and go for it. And I strike it out of the park. I kill it every time. Ask anybody. Oh, wait. And maybe we should do that. I wonder if he's still up. I was going to, let's see. There he is. Okay. Are you still up? Still up? We're going to talk to Chuck. Chuck recently got some Fisher and Fishers. He got the little ones and he's tripping. He's like, man, this is whole. Well, Mike, got the speaker today. Thanks for the fast shipping. They're absolutely gorgeous pair. I've only done a little listening so far, but they sound amazing. And he was talking to me on the phone and he's like, I've never heard anything like this. I didn't know it was possible. And so I thought maybe let's bring him on. Yep. Okay. Incoming. Okay. So this guy's name is Chuck. Okay. And let's see, here we go.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Chuck, you're live, buddy. How are you doing?
Doing good. It's a little bit past my bedtime, but
oh, thanks for joining us. We'll make it quick, man. I just basically I got carried away, so I apologize for that. I was going to have you come on first and then do Tony, but so my apology. But I just thought maybe you could give a little feedback on how it was, dealing with me and trusting me that I have good ears, and how was the result of what I sent you, what you purchased? Did you think you got your money's worth?
Oh, 100%. I just want to thank you first of all for helping me get back into the listening again, because I found your channel and I just think you have a lot of passion and that you care about people and you tell them the honest truth. And I knew I wanted to upgrade my speakers, and there's so much out there, and eventually it just came down to, I said, I trust Mikey more than anybody. And I heard the Fishers and Fishers on your video at the trade show, and I just said, well, those are the ones. And yes, you were very professional. You said you were going to ship them out the next day, and you were going to double box them, and everything was done exactly like you said. And I couldn't believe that I actually got them 2 days later.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, everything's in beautiful shape. And
Excellent.
and
How's the listening, man?
oh man, I tell you, I told you I have quite a few LPs, and I've been listening to the some 70s LPs, and man, I tell you, it just fills the room. It's clear. It's just unbelievable, and there's nothing like them.
That's great, man. So you're in your little pocket of hi-fi heaven, your little piece of heaven on earth.
That's for sure.
Good, man. Good. Well,
And
look.
so
go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh yeah. So Fisher and Fisher speakers, they're for real.
Yeah.
I'll attest to it.
Yep. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, look, I won't keep you because I know it's up past your bedtime. I appreciate you hanging on and waiting to be able to share your experience with us. And
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Happy listening, man. And keep on keeping on, man. Keep on listening and keep on watching the videos. We'll give you more. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, buddy. Thanks, Chuck.
You're welcome.
Okay, see you, buddy.
See ya. Take care.
Bye-bye. Okay, so Chuck's another happy customer. And I can just, man, I can do one of those every single day. With people that just said, you know what, I'm just going to trust Mikey. They don't need to know the spec. They don't need to know the spec. They don't need to know the crossover points. They don't need to know what kind of caps are in the damn speakers. They don't need to know shit. They just need to know that I know what's going on, and that that I'm going to send them something that kicks ass. And that's what I do. And that's how I build my reputation. And that is why people continue to buy from me and choose me as their dealer. So let me see where I left off. Right here. Oh yeah, that's where we left off. Next, Danny is deluded. I agree. I mean, I just think he should be more forthcoming about what he's doing. Just say, look, I'm a mod salesman. You know, I sell mods, and that's what I do. Instead of trying to act like he's trying to, you know, help the industry, you know. And I'm sure it sounds great, you know, to Danny, but Danny will hear things differently than the rest of it. Exactly. So, you know, everybody hears differently. Everybody hears differently, and everybody has their own taste, man. You might like strawberry, and I might like chocolate, man. And I don't want you trying to change my chocolate. You know, if you don't like it, then don't order it. You know, it's the industry makes this way more difficult than it needs to be for you guys. Way more difficult. Proper balance of speaker is important, I would think. Well, I don't know what you mean by balance. Craig, sub frequency, yes. Tonality, subject to a listener. Absolutely. Love this guy. Correct. Yes, he's good shit. Tony, you sound like a music lover, and that's all you need to be, brother. You know it. He definitely is. Tony, go on tour fixing rooms. Yeah, that's my job. Tony makes the music and the speakers. Yeah, since your cabinets resonate like an instrument with that sound change as a cabinet ages. Oh yeah, we went over that. What type of speaker? Oh yeah, we went over this one too. We went over that one. Oh, we went over that one. Putting my sound engineer's hat on, we are unable to replicate live music truly accurately because we are unable to record it as it sounds to our ears. Exactly. A microphone is not like an ear. It doesn't hear the same, you know, and therein lies the paradox. Speaker design has to create a facsimile of the input signal, but it never will, Ray. Anything that the speaker creates from the input signal that is not part of it is 100% distortion. Speakers are horribly distorted. So you can never the moral of Ray's story is you can't recreate live music. And I agree 100%. You can't recreate it. So you can't make a speaker design that creates the facsimile of the input signal. That is impossible, what you just said. So it's never going to happen. Hi-fi reproduction in our homes has still got a hell of a long way to go. You know it. Yes, microphones and placement are a huge impediment to accuracy, for sure. We are making process, but only 505, but only 5. I need stereo mics to record voice for music. Sure, it could sound better. Yeah, and every microphone has its own EQ curve, right? They all are different. 50% there. Yep. Greeting from Cape Town. Mikey and Tony, this is the show that makes the most sense to me ever. Just love how the topic gets to understanding microphones and how you seem to dispel the sweet spot. Yeah, again, it's simple stuff. Hi-fi is simple, but we make it complicated. Maybe 70% in my view, Steve, but it hasn't moved in quite a while, in my opinion. Yep. What is the name? We did that. Oriaco. Top firing tweeter. Yes, there's a top firing tweeter in the D6. Rock on, Tony. Great comment. I love Tony Giorgio. You know it, man. Cymbals are harder to record correctly, in my opinion. Yeah, a cymbal sounding accurate is a trick, man. And a cymbal is not one sound. I think I talked about this the other day. A cymbal is 3 sounds: the attack, the evolution, and the decay, right? And you need to be able to hear, especially on a ride cymbal, you need to be able to hear all of that. And if you just hear one psh, and that's all you hear, your system is not, you're not pulling out the details of the music. You're not getting everything that's there. What are Tony's thoughts? Okay, we already did. That's a whole video in itself. The snare is also difficult. Snare is very difficult. Definitely want to know the specs of yeah, we saw that. That's funny. Hey Tony, I spent an hour listening to the Tony and Lab. Oh yeah, we already got that one too. A spectrum analyzer will seriously do your head in. I know, it's nuts to watch. Just resubscribe because you called out Danny. That's some. Late but here, Aloha Tribe. Good to have you back, Bob. Late but here, Aloha Tribe. Mikey. I've been using stupidly cheap speaker for the last few months, but the Lineam dipole tweeter is phenomenal. Cool. It's great. Shane, let's connect. Mikey has my contact info. Yep, I do. Does Tony know Janusz and his voice of Lancelot speaker to sign? No. If so, what are your thoughts on his design? I don't know if he got that. Didn't he say that name? Can anyone tell me the name of his company? Yeah, Oriaco, Oriaco. And you can find it at tonianlabs.com, Tonian labs. Easy Steve, I'll have a chat to him offline. Hey, Tony, welcome. I owned a pair of TLD1s, agreed guitar and wood. Instruments sound very well with my tube amps at 2K. At the time, they were such a great value. You know it, Lon. Welcome, buddy. What's wrong with rubber surrounds? That would be a question for Tony. He sounds like he really knows what he's talking about. Yeah, I would hope so. If recording is molested, it's likely to develop problems with drugs and alcohol. Yeah, or end up stripping, you know. Yes, field coil speakers are really good for vocals in mid-range. I agree. Mike chat. Yeah. What? Mikey, you understand metals. Is a steel nut in the signal path an issue? No, it's very good, man. Everybody wants to nut every now and again. UED, which speaker designer? He's there. He was here, Tony. There's just too many shifting parts in sound engineering. New now monitors equipment for the engineer's preference in the ear, Pina, how they hear things, so on and on. Please, this chat from one person is making my mind explode. Their sheet is not good. I get out on being sound engineer when the compression was started, chopping everything down to something that sounds good on a shitty car radio. Not my thing. Yeah, hence the Oratone on top of the console. Tony and Labs, I think that's right. Who is this on the line? It's Tony Manassian from Tony and Labs. Happy New Year, Mikey brother. Oh, that's a good point. I should have some way to type out who the guest is so you guys can see that. Happy New Year, Mikey brother. The best mics I've ever heard in recording for realism were pair of coincidental Cambridge ribbons made by Charles Fisher. Has Tony ever heard of them? Professor Jim. He probably has a pair. Yep, Giorgio from Daft Punk. You know it. Ferrous metals in the signal path are definitely a problem. I know. Steel nut. I got your steel nut. Is Tony, he's a speaker designer. Yes, correct. Steve DeHardy, it's a myth. He should have got Danny Ritchie. No, man, that's low-hanging fruit, bro. That's Jay territory. Stop it. This one-way talk is boring. Is he sponsoring you? Of course not. This guy is interesting. Yeah. Spiker Hard's a troublemaker. Tony is giving us total brilliant mind expression. Yes, he is. Bowers and Wilkins don't make flat speaker. No, they just don't sound that good. Danny Ritchie tries to. Yep. Diffraction messes up imaging. Get rid of it. An Aussie audiophile, you were into those granite speakers. The Top Dog B&W 800 series throws a huge image. They are cool and they are built with great engineering and look good in opinion. Then that is what you should buy. David Parber kept far better measuring. Then that is what he should buy. 800 Matrix. Then that is what you should buy. Because this hobby is about perfection, not about substandard speakers. Yeah, there's plenty of them, I guess. What granite speakers? No, it isn't. Materials do matter. Iron and copper have vastly different electrical properties. Of course they do. Speakers are not supposed to be colored, though. Why not? You know, fuck's supposed to be. You know, the red pill, and you will see how deep the speaker hole goes. Yeah, exactly. Perfect reproductive system should have no coloration. Well, but now I don't think so. Well, perfect to who? You know, somebody might like it colored. You know, you in your mind, you want no coloration. You know, maybe I like it all fucked up with color. You know, I took acid before. I like colors all over the place, man. A big old splat of colors. I think Tony has pretty much said it all. Pretty much. Yeah, that's why we wrapped it up. Everyone has different hearing and preferences. Hello, and what they want out of a speaker. Exactly. Color or not. Response. Some like it more bass, more mid-range response, and so on. Some like more analytical. Some like, yes, exactly. That's the whole point. Okay, thanks. I guess you've never heard of EQ. I won't use an EQ. I wouldn't. You know, I won't. So you can listen to measurements. You can listen to measurements only speakers is my rule. I don't get it. Yeah, we understand. Okay. Yeah, someone said there's plenty of other things to listen to on YouTube, dude. Yeah, you can get lost if you don't like it. Best systems don't need EQ. Exactly. Everybody hears differently, like vision. Nobody hears the same exact response to frequency. Some people are more sensitive to mids or highs. That's why speaker measurements mean nothing. Yeah, hello. They only mean something when you're designing speakers and you're putting the cabinets together. You need to use measurements for the broad strokes. Spiker hard, you don't like it, go away. Yeah, that's pretty much what everybody feels. Best systems play live. Yeah, live music is on you can't copy it. Corey, then you need a hearing aid, not a colored speaker. Vandersteen measures their pistonic drivers with what Klippel is probably what you're going to say. I don't like Vandersteen. I've heard Vandersteen a million times. Not my type of sound, and they're supposed to be perfect, right? If you don't like it here, go away. Stop complaining. This is not your channel. Yeah, that's pretty much the feeling. Why can't you get Danny Ritchie on your show? I can, but dude, I don't want to. You know, he's on Jay's show. Why do I want to do what Jay does, bro? Jay, he's been on Jay's show. I'll get Daryl. If I want anybody, it's going to be Daryl Wilson that I'll get on my show, not Danny Ritchie. I'll get Daryl Wilson so you guys can hear how they designed it and why they designed it the way they did. And then we can hear that side of the story. Danny's side of the story has already been told. Why would I do it? It's already been done. Thank you, Tony, for your thoughts. Yes, thanks. It was great. Measurements make no correlation to whether you're going to like a speaker or not. Totally true. People just convince themselves that if it measures what they perceive as good, it's got to sound good. Totally true. Bet you have a preference, more bass or bloomy mids or recessed highs. Just find the speaker that floats your boat. Exactly. Speakers measurements mean zilch in such a scenario. It's totally objective. It's totally true. Janusz Real World Audio is great, Mikey. Have him on your show. I did his modded DAC. Mod on my DAC. Is that really great? He's an interesting dude. I've never even heard of him. Where is he? Remind me about it. An Aussie audiophile needs to be flat on and off axis. No, for who? For you, evidently, not for everybody. Sorry, Real World Audio on YouTube. Oh, okay. Let me see. I'll write this down. Okay, I got to roll here in a second, man. No, it doesn't. Just has to sound good for you from your listening position. That's right. Exactly. I was hoping to hear about the musicality of these speakers, the music selection used, and how the cabinets are tuned to match the drivers. He uses his own music that he records because he knows how it needs to sound because he recorded it. So he knows exactly how it needs to sound coming out of a speaker. So he uses his own music. You can find the music if you want it on TonyandLabs.com. And then the cabinets are tuned to match the drivers. Like he went over this and he said, you don't need to know. That was his thing. He said, why would I tell you how I do my shit? Why would I tell you how the cabinets are tuned? It doesn't matter to you. What are you trying to copy them? Then become an engineer and design your own shit. Otherwise, you don't need to know how the cabinets are tuned. That's the whole thing. That's kind of the point of our whole thing is the end user doesn't need to know the design elements. There's no fucking purpose for it other than to confuse you and make you think like you're an engineer. And then you can go talk to your friends like some shit when you didn't go to school for it. Or you didn't, you don't have experience or whatever to talk about it. Unless you're in the DIY circle and you want to go do that whole little exercise with your guys, you can go do that. And you guys can all push your slide rules and figure shit out and go down the rabbit hole together, but not here. If you like flat, man, knock yourself out. Real live music is not flat. It's not. Aussie audiophile, you need accuracy. Again, you need accuracy. You need it. Okay. You're just because you think accuracy is what it's all about, then that's what you should have. But what if somebody likes non-accuracy? You're going to fucking argue with them that they should not have accuracy, that they should have accuracy? It's a stupid argument. People should have whatever the hell they want. That's what we're trying to say. How do you perceive accuracy? That's right. It's subjective. If there was ferrofluid in the Wilson's tweeter's magnetic gap, it likely dried up and caused that odd response. That's a very good point. That's interesting because it was old as hell. James Warren, no, Danny would have known that. Oh, why? Does he know everything? Does Wilson divulge all that stuff? Wilson designed it's what, a Focal tweeter or something like that? You never know. What was the documentary on the YouTubers? It was called, oh shit, Tom, I'll call and let you know. It was, I don't remember the name of it. It was a woman and her husband. It totally interesting. They went over too deep. Like they're trying to scrap for content and make content because they had millions of subscribers and they were just voracious appetite for content. So they started adopting babies just to make freaking content. And then they had to call it quits because the baby was, they had no idea that when you take a baby that is like 4 years old or something like that, they have an attachment to their foster parents, and you yank them away out of China and take them to like Midwest USA, they're tripping balls, dude, and they're unhappy. They're scared. They don't like it. They miss their parents, and they were snagged away, man. It's traumatic for them, but they put a baby through trauma so they could make freaking content, and they got hated for it. Accuracy to me is the reproduction of live music as close as we possibly can get it, and we are a fair way off. That is true. Awesome, Tony. It was great to listen to your perspective. Thanks. That's bullshit to you, bro. Who makes you God of what's bullshit or not, right? That's the whole thing. Fisher and Fisher can ring as they are made of concrete. Wow. Okay, so you are the measurement dick, okay? You're talking like a complete dick right now. You don't know shit. This statement lets us know you don't know your fucking head from a hole in the ground, bro. From your ass or your dick. You don't know if you're coming or going, they're not fucking concrete. They're so obviously a different material. And you are talking like you know what's up. That's what's fucked up about this industry and why YouTube is a joke, because idiots come on and fucking think they're smart, and you're just talking like an idiot. I still don't know how, after decades of speaker manufacturing, design, engineering, we haven't made the perfect sounding speaker, because we're trying to recreate nature, homeboy, and it can't be done, or at least the most accurate to the music recorded. Yeah, too many wrong things. We're trying to recreate nature. Dude, go away. You have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, they're made of slate. Exactly, right? He just doesn't know his head from his ass. It's so fucking clear. He's probably fucking 14 years old in his parents' home right now. I don't like AMT tweeters. They make my ears bleed. Well, you have not heard good AMT design. See, like Ray is also a guy that thinks like, oh, I don't like R2R DACs. You think they're all the same. So you don't, you're going to, because you have this little silly thought that you don't like AMT tweeters because they made your ears bleed in one design. So, or maybe two designs. So you decided you don't like them. So now you're going to rule out the possibility of you having one of the best speakers in the world, which is Fisher and Fisher. And their AMT tweeters are the most smooth highs you've ever heard in your life. They win awards with their speakers, national, like global awards for best sounding speakers. So you can't rule out all AMTs. You can tune an AMT. You can put a different tweeter in the different capacitor in the crossover to either smooth that response or exaggerate it. You put in a Mundorf silver, it's going to be like harsh. You know, you put in a Jupiter copper, it's going to be smooth. So to say I don't like AMT tweeters, they make my ears bleed. You're making a grossly blanket statement over something that is absolutely not definitive. So there you go. Emotiva sucks. There's an opinion, you know. I think they're a good value. And Dan has done very well for himself. So here's another thing, you know, I mean, look, you know, even Polk Audio. I can't stand Polk, but they're very successful. So how do you judge, you know, what sucks? I don't think it's high end 2-channel, you know, but Dan, the owner, is a really good guy. They're good people. And, you know, and I like the guy. What about Martin speakers, Mikey? Share your opinion. Martins are pretty sweet, man. I haven't listened to Martin in a while, but the build quality is beautiful. They're like freaking yachts. Aussie Audiophile, they're not damp. They ring like they ring like a bell. No, they don't. I've got them. I've got one of everything in my room, and they don't ring. This live stream thing you do is the new best thing in the hi-fi world. In my opinion, you get a lot of interesting people on the show. So thank you, and keep the live streams coming. Thanks, buddy. I will do that. Well, I'll have a set of floor standers in here for review this week. Sweet, man. The 470s. Aussie Audiophile, are you a dealer? No. I've got Teal speakers in my shop with Aragon amp with Krell preamp. Yeah, you do. Not bad for sound. No, Teal is a great company. They really knew what they were doing. There's a lot of R&D that went into their speakers. They're just unforgiving in a listening situation. Dano's got them in his shop, so you can just crank them out while they're working on shit. Do not buy American more than 50,000. The progression integrated 23,000 is top in Europe. So is socialism. I mean, who cares? Yeah, we crank it up when we build. Yeah, you do. What about Martin speakers, Mikey? Your opinion, please. Martin's great stuff, man. That's my opinion. It's expensive as hell, but it's really good stuff. What about, holy shit. Yeah, I already told you, man. Seger, what about Martin? Oh shit, man. You keep making me read it. I found the Fisher and Fisher speakers super easy to dial. They go, dude, we put them in and we don't even have to move them. It's like they're so easy to set up. It's incredible. They image great from any position almost. What is your problem? Stop spamming. I know he really wanted his question answered. Too expensive. They are expensive. Speaker measurements can be taken in 1 million ways, probably. Sure. J&GR research, accept your attitude. You are a shouting salesperson. J&GR and nice and oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so this guy is a douche. Spiker Hard, you're a fucking douchebag. Okay, get lost. Don't come back to my channel. You're just a fucking troll. You know, suck a dick, dude. Okay, so out of there. Okay. So, have you tried electron? Let's see. Where are we? Okay. Okay. That's what we did. We trusted Mikey as well with the Fisher and Fisher. So glad we did. Mikey, do we do separate speakers for audio versus video? You can do the same one. It doesn't matter. You know, you can use great 2-channel speakers for your for watching movies, but typically home theater stuff is not up to snuff. If you're buying home theater speakers to listen to 2-channel. Have you tried electronic music on the wood speakers? I heard it adds a human touch that electronic music lacks. That's very interesting. I will try it. Okay, what about Jesus Christ, dude? I told you about Wilson, about Martin. Hi-Fi Tribe Shane, you know why they call it Geelong when they first rode in their horses? They're from Melbourne. They said, gee, it's a long way. And ever since it's been called Geelong. I'm imploding here. What's wrong with rubber surrounds? Anyone? I have no idea. I would say maybe it's not it's too tight or so. I have no idea. I'm not even going to try and guess. The perfect reproductive system is pink, right? Yes, I would imagine. I used to go listen to the B&W Matrix all the time. Then one day I went and it was the Nautilus line. It was like they're spitting in my face. I thought their mirror M needed broken in. Nope, just crap. Yeah, yep. I mean, some people like him. I don't. Yes, get Wilson on the live stream. We'll see, man, if he'll do it. I mean, there's a chance that he just doesn't want to. He's got a fly buzzing around his dick. It's like, does he even pay attention to it? It's like, Danny's a fly on Wilson's ass. He doesn't want to give them any. I would imagine any more fuel than they need. He probably doesn't even need to respond to it. He can ignore him completely, and it's not going to mean shit to Wilson, and then they're going to try and get another one and try and slag Wilson more and keep running the name. And, but I will see if he will come here. I'll take the opposite. I'm on Wilson's side on this one, even though it's a speaker that I don't prefer. Maybe it's because I just haven't heard it sound good. I think Shane's probably sounds good. I've heard the Chronosonic XVX sound good at one dealer, and I've heard one pair of Sasha V's, I think, at in our room one year, and I provided the cables for those Wilsons. I got them 10 Sony Walkman speakers and 2 Shellbuck to crush high-end speakers. God, another kid, another 14-year-old. What about Martin speakers, Mikey? Your opinion, please. Oh, I did that. Okay, so here we go. Delete comment, put user in timeout. You just won yourself a timeout. Do I like Stenheim? Yes, good shit. Let's see. Really enjoyed the conversation, learning so much. Good, man. Concrete. Yeah, exactly. It's like all I do is pitch that they're freaking slate like every single time I talk about them. Yeah, and yeah, exactly. Like the rock is gonna ring. That's exactly it. It's the guy's clueless. If the speakers reproduce the material recorded faithfully, then his reference and perfect in my eyes. And I do like Stenheim. Doesn't matter what things cost. Trust in Mikey. Yeah, I mean, whatever's in your comfortable zone. I've talked people out of stuff because I feel they're spending too much, and I talk them out of it. I say it's not the right time. Right now, one of my systems have a professionally built and finished pair of Jeff Bagby Helio speakers, and they're awesome. If anyone here into DIY, you should check them out. We'll do that. Holy shit, we're at like 11:30. Hey, Mikes, thanks for another kick-ass live. You know it, Jasper. That's what I'm here for, buddy. Did I know that Danny makes a lot of money out of his company? I don't care. I used to look at, he doesn't make as much as Wilson. I'll tell you that much. I used to look at Sensitivity one, but now I don't even look at that. Oh, Sensitivity one. Yeah. Does that mean he's good? Yeah, exactly. The Mexican drug cartel makes a lot of money out of their company. Hookers make a lot of money out of their company. It doesn't mean shit. But Wilson makes more. I'll tell you that much. I'm not sure how people don't see you're just selling and hating. I really don't know why you can't say something is good that you don't sell. I do it all the time. You don't watch my channel. I talk all the time about shit that is great that I don't sell. Magnapan, I don't sell Magnapan. Fucking one of the best speakers ever made. What's the other one? Aesthetics. Rogue Audio. Who else can I think of? Martin loudspeakers, someone said. Rockport speakers are fucking awesome. Jade makes great tube amps. Manly makes phenomenal stuff. I always talk about it, dude. You just, again, people on here think they know what they're talking about. They've got no idea what they're talking about. And I don't hate. I'm just saying, punk ass bitch should tell the truth. That's not hating. It's calling somebody out. You know, you never heard of that? Dude, you just been handed your ass on this live stream. Best you quit while you're behind. Yeah, he just got taken out. I came to laugh. Thanks for the good one. Good, man. That's what I do. I make motherfuckers laugh. That's why I put a banana coming out of my pants on the last shit you clicked on. I owned the best cement socks ever made. What about the Kef blade? Not my thing. Great show. Longest ever. Good night, brother. I know. I'm trying to finish up with these damn things, and then I'm going to be done. Have no idea what Bay's audio is. Years ago, listening to Wilson comes to my integrated tube amp EL34. It nearly brought me to tears. There you go. It's, you know. Thank you for the live stream tonight, Mikey. This was great. Have a good evening. I am out of here, guys. I can't stay any longer. I've gone way further than I normally do. But thanks, everybody, and I will see you on Wednesday. See you.